Kash Patel, a prominent ally of former President Donald Trump, has been nominated to lead the Federal Bureau of Investigation (FBI) as part of Trump's broader strategy to reshape the agency. The nomination reflects Patel's long-standing critical stance on the FBI, particularly regarding its investigations of Trump. Patel's confirmation hearing, scheduled for January 30, 2025, is anticipated to be contentious, especially given the skepticism expressed by Democratic senators regarding his qualifications for the role. Background and experience. Patel has a diverse career, having served in various capacities, including as a senior aide to the House Intelligence Committee and as Chief of Staff at the Department of Defense during Trump's presidency. He gained notoriety for his vocal criticisms of the FBI, particularly about its handling of the Trump-Russia investigation. Patel has suggested that if appointed FBI director, he would make significant changes to the agency, such as converting its headquarters into a museum of the deep state, a term he and Trump used to refer to what they perceive as a bureaucratic conspiracy against conservative interests. In his previous roles, Patel has been characterized as a staunch defender of Trump, often echoing the former president's skepticism regarding government surveillance and the alleged politicization of the FBI. His rhetoric includes intentions to reallocate FBI resources toward traditional law enforcement roles rather than the agency's current focus areas. Confirmation hearing. The forthcoming confirmation hearing is critical for Patel's bid to lead the FBI. Democratic senators led by Senator Dick Durbin have expressed significant concerns about Patel's suitability for the role, highlighting his lack of experience and the potential for partisan motivations. Durbin has accused Patel of exercising poor judgment, referencing an incident where Patel allegedly leaked sensitive information regarding American hostages in Yemen. In contrast, Republican senators are rallying behind Patel, viewing him as a necessary reformer who can bring change to an agency they believe has become overly politicized. Senator Thom Tillis has indicated that he has prepared Patel for the expected criticisms, suggesting that the hearing will serve as a platform for Patel to counter claims against him. Common themes and divergences. Sources covering Patel's nomination consistently emphasize his close ties to Trump and his alignment with the former president's views on government institutions. Critics have raised concerns about his fitness for the role, arguing that his previous comments and actions indicate a potential for partisan retribution against perceived adversaries. However, the portrayal of Patel's qualifications and the nature of the Senate's reception varies among sources. For instance, the BBC underscores concerns regarding Patel's qualifications and the implications of an enemies list he published, while ABC News and the Associated Press focus more on the potential confrontational nature of the hearing. Timeline of events. 1. 2017, Patel begins his tenure as a senior counsel to the House Intelligence Committee, gaining attention for his role during the investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election. 2. 2019, he is appointed as a national security aide within the Trump administration. 3. 2020, Patel becomes Chief of Staff at the Pentagon. For 2023, he publishes a memoir and children's books promoting Trump while criticizing government institutions. 5. November 2024, Trump nominates Patel as FBI director to succeed Christopher Wray. 6. January 30, 2025, Patel faces a Senate confirmation hearing that is expected to be highly contentious, with significant opposition from Democrats. Conclusion. As Patel's confirmation hearing approaches, his ability to address the criticisms levied against him will be pivotal in determining whether he can secure the position of FBI director. The outcome of this hearing could have far-reaching implications for the agency's future direction and its relationship with the current political landscape. Kash Patel, a controversial figure and strong ally of former President Donald Trump, has been nominated to lead the Federal Bureau of Investigation (FBI), a choice that has sparked significant debate and skepticism, particularly among Democratic senators. Patel's selection is seen as part of Trump's broader strategy to reshape the FBI, which he and his supporters have accused of political bias against conservatives. Patel, who previously served as a chief of staff at the Department of Defense and as a senior aide on the House Intelligence Committee, has gained notoriety for his outspoken criticisms of the FBI, particularly regarding its investigations into Trump, including the Trump-Russia probe. His nomination raises questions about his qualifications and the potential implications for the FBI's independence and integrity. One of the most counterintuitive aspects of Patel's nomination is the stark contrast between his proposed overhaul of the FBI and the traditional expectations of the FBI director role. Historically, FBI directors have maintained a degree of separation from the sitting president to protect the agency's impartiality. However, Patel's close ties to Trump and his willingness to openly criticize the FBI suggest a shift towards a more politicized leadership which could undermine public trust in the agency. Patel's rhetoric has included radical proposals such as converting the FBI's headquarters into a museum of the deep state and redistributing its agents to focus solely on traditional law enforcement roles, which he believes would better serve the public. This perspective challenges the conventional view of the FBI's broader mandate, which includes national security, counterterrorism, and the investigation of complex criminal enterprises. As he approaches his Senate confirmation hearing, Patel faces intense scrutiny over his past behavior and statements. Critics, including Senator Dick Durbin, have raised concerns about his judgment and suitability for the role, citing an incident where he allegedly leaked sensitive information regarding hostages in Yemen. This incident, among others, is being used to question Patel's capacity to lead an agency that requires discretion and integrity. Despite these criticisms, Patel's supporters view him as a necessary reformer capable of restoring what they perceive as the FBI's lost integrity. They argue that his experiences and insider knowledge of the agency's operations will enable him to implement much-needed changes. This divide illustrates the polarized nature of contemporary American politics, where individuals' qualifications and motives are often assessed through the lens of partisan allegiance. Another counterintuitive point is the perception of Patel's qualifications. While some sources emphasize his experience as a federal prosecutor and his role in significant investigations, others argue that his partisan rhetoric and previous actions demonstrate a lack of the temperament needed for such a critical position. The contrasting portrayals of Patel highlight the subjective nature of evaluating political candidates, particularly in contentious environments. Moreover, Patel's nomination comes at a time when the FBI is under increased scrutiny and pressure from various political factions. The agency has faced accusations of political bias, particularly in its handling of investigations related to Trump and his associates. Patel's selection could exacerbate these tensions, as he has been vocal in advocating for the dismantling of what he perceives as a politicized institution, potentially leading to further division within the agency and its relationship with Congress. As Patel prepares for the confirmation hearing, the outcomes could have far-reaching implications for the FBI's future direction. If confirmed, he may implement policies that align closely with Trump's vision, significantly altering the agency's operations and public perception. The hearing itself is expected to be contentious, with Democrats aiming to highlight Patel's perceived inadequacies while Republicans rally behind him, framing the opposition as politically motivated. In summary, Kash Patel's nomination to lead the FBI encapsulates the ongoing conflict within U.S. politics regarding the role of federal agencies, the influence of partisan politics, and the challenges of maintaining the integrity of institutions in a highly polarized environment. The confirmation process will not only determine Patel's fate but could also set a precedent for how future FBI directors navigate their relationship with the executive branch and the broader political landscape. Kash Patel's nomination as the FBI director is significant not only because of his close ties to former President Donald Trump, but also due to the implications his leadership could have on the agency's future direction and the political landscape surrounding law enforcement in the United States. Key aspects to consider. 1. Patel's background and experience. Patel's career trajectory is noteworthy, as he has held positions that intersect with national security and intelligence. His time as a senior aide to the House Intelligence Committee during the Trump administration and his role as Chief of Staff at the Department of Defense lend him a certain level of credibility within the national security realm. However, his lack of traditional law enforcement experience raises concerns among critics. His views on the FBI, particularly his claims of government tyranny, suggest a desire to fundamentally alter the agency's structure and mission. 2. The deep state narrative. Patel's rhetoric aligns with Trump's frequent references to a deep state, a term used to describe a supposed clandestine network within the government that operates independently of elected officials. Patel's assertion that he would convert the FBI headquarters into a museum of the deep state reveals a willingness to challenge the existing authority of the agency. This language resonates with a segment of the Republican base that feels that federal agencies have become politicized and biased against conservatives. His approach could embolden similar sentiments among supporters and may lead to a significant re-evaluation of the FBI's role and public perception. 3. Confirmation hearing dynamics. The upcoming Senate confirmation hearing is anticipated to be contentious. Patel's responses to the criticisms regarding his qualifications and past actions will be pivotal. Democratic senators, particularly those on the Judiciary Committee, have expressed strong opposition, citing Patel's perceived lack of judgment and experience. The hearing serves as a critical moment for Patel to articulate his vision for the FBI, countering the narrative that he represents a departure from traditional nonpartisan law enforcement. The dynamics of this hearing could influence not only his confirmation but also the future direction of the FBI and its relationship with Congress. 4. Potential for partisan retribution. Critics are concerned that Patel's appointment could usher in a period of partisan retribution within the FBI, targeting those who have been critical of Trump or who have participated in investigations against him. The notion of an enemies list, which Patel has been associated with through his publications, raises alarms about the potential politicization of the agency. This could fundamentally alter the public's trust in the FBI, which has traditionally been viewed as a nonpartisan federal agency. The fear is that Patel's leadership could encourage a culture of retribution rather than justice. 5. Impact on FBI operations. Patel has expressed a desire to shift the focus of the FBI away from what he perceives as politically motivated investigations towards more traditional law enforcement roles. This could lead to a significant restructuring of the agency's priorities, potentially sidelining current initiatives that address issues like domestic terrorism, cyber threats, and public corruption. The implications of such a shift could affect not only the agency's effectiveness but also its ability to respond to emerging threats in an increasingly complex security environment. 6. Public perception and trust. The FBI's reputation has been a contentious issue, particularly after high-profile investigations into Trump and his associates. Patel's nomination and potential confirmation could further polarize public opinion regarding the agency, especially among partisan lines. If Patel implements changes that align with Trump's narrative against the FBI, it could lead to a significant erosion of trust among those who view the agency as a critical component of democracy and the rule of law. 7. Long-term consequences for law enforcement. The broader implications of Patel's nomination extend beyond the FBI. It reflects a growing trend where law enforcement agencies may become embroiled in political disputes, undermining the principle of impartiality that is essential for effective policing and justice. If Patel's leadership results in a politicized FBI, it could set a precedent for future administrations to follow suit, potentially leading to a cycle of retribution and partisanship within federal law enforcement. In summary, while many aspects of Patel's nomination and confirmation hearing are being discussed in mainstream coverage, the significance lies in the broader implications for the FBI, law enforcement, and public trust in governmental institutions. Patel represents a pivotal figure at a time when the integrity of federal agencies is under scrutiny, and his leadership could either reinforce or unravel the nonpartisan ethos that has traditionally characterized American law enforcement. The outcome of his confirmation hearing and subsequent actions as FBI director will likely have lasting repercussions on the agency and its role in American democracy. 1. Background and experience. Kash Patel's career trajectory is crucial to understanding his nomination as FBI director. With roles as a former aide to the House Intelligence Committee and Chief of Staff at the Department of Defense during Trump's presidency, Patel has positioned himself as a loyal ally of Trump. His outspoken criticism of the FBI, particularly regarding its investigations into Trump, raises questions about his qualifications. This background informs the ongoing debate about whether his personal and professional history makes him fit to lead a politically sensitive agency like the FBI. 2. Confirmation hearing dynamics. The upcoming Senate confirmation hearing is expected to be contentious, reflecting the deep political divide surrounding Patel's nomination. Democratic senators led by Senator Dick Durbin have expressed skepticism about Patel's qualifications and motivations. They plan to scrutinize his previous comments and actions, which suggest a potential for partisan retribution. Conversely, Republican senators view Patel as a necessary reformer who can challenge what they believe to be a politicized FBI. This dynamic illustrates the broader partisan battle over control and direction of federal agencies. 3. Partisan perspectives on the FBI. Patel's nomination is emblematic of the ongoing struggle over the FBI's perceived politicization. Supporters argue that the agency has unfairly targeted conservatives, while critics worry that Patel's close ties to Trump and his proposed changes could further erode public trust in the FBI. Patel's suggestion to transform the FBI's headquarters into a museum of the deep state and focus agents on traditional law enforcement raises significant concerns about the future direction of the agency and its role in American governance. 4. Impact of rhetoric and public perception. Patel's rhetoric, including his enemies list published in his memoir, has drawn significant public attention and scrutiny. This aspect of his candidacy highlights the potential consequences of inflammatory statements in high-level government positions. The way Patel navigates the confirmation process, particularly in addressing his controversial comments, will shape public perception of both him and the FBI. How he responds to criticisms during the confirmation hearing may set a precedent for the relationship between political appointees and federal law enforcement agencies moving forward. 1. The confirmation hearings of Robert Bork, 1987. Robert Bork was nominated by President Ronald Reagan to the Supreme Court. His nomination was highly controversial and faced intense scrutiny from Senate Democrats who opposed him for his views on civil rights, abortion, and executive power. The hearings became a battleground for ideological clashes, with Bork's judicial philosophy scrutinized as he faced hostile questioning. Ultimately, he was rejected by the Senate, which marked a significant moment in the politicization of Supreme Court nominations. 2. The impeachment trial of Andrew Johnson, 1868. Andrew Johnson, the 17th President of the United States, faced impeachment primarily due to his opposition to the Reconstruction Acts and his attempts to remove Edwin M. Stanton, the Secretary of War, from his position. The Senate trial was contentious, highlighting deep political divisions in the post-Civil War era. Johnson was acquitted by just one vote. But the trial underscored the struggles between the presidency and Congress over control of the country's direction. 3. The Senate confirmation of John Bolton as UN Ambassador, 2005. John Bolton's nomination as the United Nations ambassador was met with fierce opposition from Senate Democrats who questioned his qualifications and past comments about the UN. The confirmation hearings revealed deep divisions over foreign policy and the role of the UN in global governance. While Bolton was ultimately confirmed, the hearings illustrated the contentious nature of political appointments in a polarized environment with significant debate over the nominees' qualifications and viewpoints. Kash Patel, a prominent ally of former President Donald Trump, has been nominated to lead the FBI, marking a significant moment in the ongoing political interplay surrounding the agency. As Patel prepares for a contentious Senate confirmation hearing, The future of the FBI and its role in American governance may be profoundly impacted by this nomination. Background and experience. Patel's career trajectory includes significant roles as a former aide to the House Intelligence Committee and as Chief of Staff at the Department of Defense during Trump's presidency. His tenure has been characterized by vocal opposition to the FBI's investigations into Trump and a commitment to reforming the agency. Notably, Patel has proposed controversial changes including transforming the FBI headquarters into a museum of the deep state and shifting agents away from current investigative focuses to traditional law enforcement roles. Confirmation hearing dynamics. The confirmation hearing scheduled for January 30, 2025 is expected to be marked by intense scrutiny from Democratic senators who question Patel's qualifications and motivations. Concerns have been raised about his past actions, including allegations of leaking sensitive information and maintaining a partisan enemies list of government officials. Republicans, however, rallied behind Patel, seeing him as a necessary reformer who can restore trust in the FBI. Political implications. Patel's nomination symbolizes a broader struggle over the future of the FBI, which has become a focal point in the political discourse surrounding Trump and his allies. If confirmed, Patel could shift the agency's focus and operations, significantly prioritizing investigations that align with Trump's views and potentially sidelining those that do not. This could further politicize the FBI, raising concerns about its independence and integrity. Future outlook. 1. Confirmation outcomes. Depending on the outcome of the confirmation hearing, Patel's leadership could either reinforce or undermine public trust in the FBI. A contentious confirmation process might embolden critics who argue that the agency has become politicized and could lead to a more divided FBI workforce. 2. Agency reforms. If Patel is confirmed, his proposed reforms could lead to a significant restructuring of the FBI's priorities. This may include a shift towards traditional law enforcement and away from investigations perceived as politically motivated, which could redefine the agency's role in national security and law enforcement. 3. Increased partisanship. Patel's close ties to Trump may exacerbate existing partisan divides, potentially leading to a scenario where the FBI is seen as an extension of the political agenda of the administration. This could result in increased scrutiny and pushback from Democrats and civil liberties advocates, who may view Patel's leadership as a threat to the agency's neutrality. For long-term agency impact, the long-term effects of Patel's leadership could reshape the FBI's public image and operational effectiveness. If perceived as a political tool, it may struggle to attract top talent and maintain morale among employees who value the agency's traditional role in impartial law enforcement. 5. Public perception and trust. The future of the FBI under Patel could hinge on public perception. If he successfully implements reforms that resonate with a significant portion of the American public, trust in the agency may improve. Conversely, any missteps or perceptions of bias could further erode confidence in federal law enforcement. In summary, Kash Patel's nomination to lead the FBI carries significant implications for the agency's future and its role in American governance. The confirmation hearing will be a critical juncture that not only determines Patel's fate but also sets the stage for the future trajectory of the FBI amidst a highly polarized political landscape.